I had no idea that Depakote was not recommended for elderly patients with dementia because they could suffer more serious side effects. And when I began to read those side effects, it was almost a checklist for my husband. And so I made the decision that I was going to wean him off the Depakote. Um, I told his physician, who we are now in hospice, it was the hospice physician. I told him I was going to wean him off the Depakote. And fortunately, I have a family member who's a pharmacist, and I was able to get a schedule to wean him off. And over a period of about 4 weeks, I cut back and I weaned him from the Depakote. Over that time, my husband began to come back to me. After he was off the Depakote, he actually was able to get up in a chair. He was actually able to feed himself, and he can speak in 2 or 3 word sentences, but responds appropriately to statements or questions that you ask him.
Right.
So it was 180-degree change from
Oh.
where we were prior to getting off the Depakote. Today, he is immobile, and we're working on getting some strength back in his legs. He's lost the muscle mass in his legs, and he can't stand. And he obviously has some issues still with balance, but he was having those issues looking back, even while he was in the hospital. He fell 2 or 3 times, and I believe he was beginning to have balance issues at that point before he just became immobile.
Immobile. Yeah.
So that's sort of where we are today.
Okay.
I guess at some point I would love to summarize what I thought the issues were.
Yeah, because what it sounds like to me, Deborah, is that it was a good thing you noticed that, wow, this is a really fast transition. Is this typical? And you even asked, I mean, is this the dementia or is this a medication? And to hear very clearly from the provider, no, this is the dementia. And yet, really still wonder, is that true or not? And then to do your own research and discover, wait a minute, this sounds like the symptom profile side effects of what we're dealing with. This doesn't exactly sound like his dementia. Let's see what happens if we discontinue with support in the right way. And you did. Well, look at that. It wasn't the dementia. It wasn't all the dementia. A lot of it was trying to control behavior with drugs rather than using some skill and knowledge and really start to build a team of care and not blame him for having dementia. Is that
Precisely. From the time he was diagnosed, I
Yeah.
began to research and learn about Alzheimer's. And I had a particular book that is almost worn out. I read it so often. And so I did not believe that overnight with dementia, you would go from
Mm-mm.
0 to nothing or 60 to 0 because that just didn't seem to be everything I researched. Uh, this stopped. It was an acute change in my husband,
Yeah.
and I could not find anywhere in the literature that that could happen. All the literature pointed to a decline, but a much more or much slower decline
Right.
with the
Gradual.
disease and with the symptoms.
Yeah.
So that's why when I saw that he had gone from walking around, feeding himself, talking, to being lethargic, almost obtunded,
Yeah.
I could not believe that the brain, the Alzheimer's would change that quickly.
Fast. And you were right. Quite honestly, you were absolutely right. And the idea that we're using a medication that was designed for seizure control to try to control a human being that has brain failure. I mean, his brain is failing him. but not with seizures. I mean, he was not having a temporal lobe seizure where he was having an out of control behavior. Things were happening to him and around him that made him frightened, scared, and frustrated. And he reacted to those, but that was not a episode of a seizure like out of control behavior. It was a illogical brain reaction to feeling threatened, is what it was. And to drug someone into a place where they can't function and call that care is incredibly concerning. So I think you're Wonder Woman. And I think you're amazing as a spouse to use your background and use your expertise and use your team, your pharmacist, friend, family, and to recognize, no, this is not business as usual, and this isn't okay, and this shouldn't be happening to people. Um, and so you've chosen to step forward so others can learn. And even if you're not a nurse, raise your hand and go, wait a minute, we're on a lot of Depakote also. Um, I'm wondering how much of this is due to that medication use that actually it might have been a moment in time where the behavior was very difficult to manage, but what we're doing here is just suppressing the person until they disappear. Um, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Tifa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out, and you might want to visit our website, www.tifasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.